Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to the Sift, presented by murphysmagic.com.
Hey guys, welcome back once again to The Shift. Thanks for tuning in. You might be wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses. And the answer is, it's my birthday, so I can do whatever the hell I want. If I want to wear sunglasses, you have nothing to say about it. Plus, it was a long night, and the daylight hurts my life. Before we get into the deal, let's talk about who we're having at the table this week. If you didn't yet know, Greg Wilson is our new At the Table Experience host. I tuned in last week. We had Justin Miller, and him and Greg really hit it off. They're both super creative minds, so it just turned into like this jam session where they were throwing back and forth ideas, and the tricks that Justin was doing, sort of Greg had his takes on it. It was just this great dynamic, so I encourage you guys to check that out. This Wednesday we'll be welcoming Jeff Williams to the table. I'll leave the link below where you can check that out. Next up, we have last week's winner. I asked you guys to name your favorite creator, and many answers, varied from Jeff McBride to Kayla Morelli, all sorts of answers. I picked Will Palmer, who said his favorite creator is Marlo, which you can't really blame him for. So Will Palmer, hit us up on Facebook, so facebook.com/MurphysMagicSupplies, and send us a message with your info and we'll send your prize out to you as soon as possible. For this week's contest, I simply need you guys to like this video and comment below. Talk about one of the two tricks or both tricks, what you thought, do they suit your style, maybe talk about the performances, and I will pick a winner and you will be receiving a copy of each of this week's effects. Without further ado, let's get into the dilly. This week we have, speaking of Greg Wilson, who is our At the Table host, I also took out Bandwidth for a spin. Yeah, Bandwidth. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Also, we have Badge, or Badge. I'm going to call it Badge because it has an accent there, and in French, that's Badge. So Badge by Sebastien Calbry and Alex de la Fuente. Alex, you possibly have the coolest name I've ever heard. What's your name, man? Alex. Oh, Alex, nice to meet you. What's your last name? De la Fuente.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. Let's start by talking about Badge. I went out and performed this. I used a GoPro, I was testing that out, but the footage is great. The audio is not that good, but you'll get the idea. I also did a quick little Instagram video, so I'll put that up too, so you can see both performances, and we'll talk about it right after this.
What's your name? Frank Chris. Good to meet you. All right, I'm gonna influence your mind. All right, without you knowing. Okay, check this out. This is crazy. Come in closer. Say stop and reveal it. Stop. Right there. Have a look at the card and show it to the camera. I don't want to see it. Show it to the camera. All right, put it back. Okay. Now, if you noticed, I had a card here the whole time. You see that? You see that? Yeah. That's your card, right? Because it influenced you. That wasn't your card, no? No. It's not your card? Do you know Photoshop? Yeah. Okay. I'm lazy. I like to Photoshop while I'm filming, not after. So I'm going to do some trick photography, but I'll do some trick photography for you right now. All right, watch. Look here. Watch here. This is not your card, right? Look at it.
So obviously you can see that the selection matches the prediction perfectly. Does now. So those were my performances of Badge. I'm gonna stop calling it Badge right now. I'm gonna call it Badge from now on, if that's cool. So, Badge by Sebastien, Calbry, and Alex de la Fuente. What do you get with this? You get a DVD and you get a gimmick. The gimmick is customizable once, so you can do one change, whatever that is, whether it's, they teach methods for changing, you know, a frown into a happy face or a word into another word, but you get one shot. They do supply some things that allow you and teach you to rebuild this gimmick, so to re-customize it. Myself, I'm a very lazy guy when it comes to that stuff, unless it's my own effect. I don't like dabbling, creating other people's, you know, gimmicks. So I'll just probably re-buy another one of these, and I totally think it's worth the price. This trick is so visually pleasing. I used a bit of a patter saying, like, you know, I messed up, and then I said, you know, Photoshop, obviously you're familiar with Photoshop, and I think a lot of people, when you put up like magic videos and things like that, I think in the back of their mind they're saying, well, it could be, you know, camera edit, like Zach King style, right? And so I thought I'd use that in the pattern because people are familiar with that, and it sets them up really nicely for what's about to happen without telling them what's going to happen. I really like that idea of, I'm gonna do some, I'm lazy, I'm not going to do the edits later, I'm gonna do them now so I don't have to, you know, do it in post-production. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is the only color change that's 100% hands-off and controllable. I mean, this just adds a layer of deception, a massive layer of deception in my opinion. I would say the only negative is be careful with the gimmick. I did sort of release the gimmick, unclinched it or released it prior to shooting accidentally, and nobody saw it. It went really under the radar. I turned around and reset, which is great because it only took me a second. That being said, I would definitely test your physical limits because there are movement limitations, I would say. The setup is not super intricate, however. It's a really, really easy and really clever setup, but it could be triggered by sort of jerky movements. So know your limits. That being said, you'd be good after that. Let's talk about production. The DVD was well produced by World Magic Shop. The teaching is great. They go into, you know, teaching you different routines, things you can change one thing into another for. I would say the only thing that kind of irked me about the production was the trailer. I'm a big fan of aesthetics, and it's nothing personal against Sebastien or Alex. Those guys are just visual monsters when it comes to creating effects. But the trailer, in my opinion, lacked mojo. I would have really liked to see, you know, I don't know, maybe just something a little more aesthetically pleasing. We had these sort of diagonal shots of the Eiffel Tower, coffee shop magic. It just doesn't do the product justice, I thought. You know, had the production been, you know, super epic on this, I think this would be like the talk of the town. I think every magician would be talking about this product right now. I think this really deserves a huge platform, and I don't think the trailer kind of delivered. I know I'm being picky, but I'm like that. So go out and grab a copy of Badge or Badge by Sebastien Calbry and Alex de la Fuente. Next up, our host. Our at the table host, not this host, because that would be me and I have nothing. But our at the table host is Greg Wilson, and he released a little thing called Bandwidth. Yeah, Bandwidth is dope. Dope AF. I'll let you guys watch this performance. It was my birthday, we partied a little bit, so it's like an iPhone performance. I'm gonna just like dub the sound with some music to avoid your ears bleeding. And I did a little performance for the camera as well, so you can see something that looks perfect and something that looks far from perfect. But I'll talk a little bit more about the product after this. So those were my performances, sort of bandwidth. The reason I say sort of, because I performed this probably about 15 times last night. I love this effect so much. What you get is, you get one ring, size 11, silver ring. Size 11 because it's just like a general size that fits most people on some finger. You also get the stretch gimmick and you get the crushed ring gimmick, as well as a link to the explanation taught by Greg Wilson. This is a product produced by us at Murphy's. So I'm truly proud of this product. I'm really glad that Greg, you know, put it into our hands, because this has been his baby for the past 10 years. He's been dragging this around at conventions. I wouldn't say dragging, he's been, you know, cleverly teasing it at conventions, and people are just, especially magicians, were just blown away with this. I would say this is a worker's dream, because you can literally walk up to somebody, borrow their ring, stretch it out, toss it up, crush it, hand it out. You know, it's so organic and so amazing. The first question that comes to mind, obviously, is can it be a borrowed ring? And the answer is yes. Can it be any ring? I wouldn't say any, but damn near any ring. And Greg teaches you why, and he's so right. After performing it a few times, that sort of thumb tip guilt you feel by having a ring that doesn't look exactly like the gimmick goes away. Because as Greg explains, when you take a metal and start stretching it and changing, you know, what it's actually, the composition of the metal, and making it look like molasses, it's not so hard to believe that the way it looks would change as well. So in this gimmick you have, basically you can take a silver or gold ring and stretch it. However, last night this is cool, I was scanning the room as we were having drinks for people with rings, and I would see sort of which ones I could pull off, and every now and then I'd wing it. And if let's say this guy had a black ring and it was really thin, I'd say, yeah, you know, first of all, why are you wearing a PK ring, dude? But I would take his ring and stretch it out, and the last thing that's in the spectator's mind is that doesn't look like my ring, because what they're seeing is me stretching metal. So it's not that hard to believe that, you know, it would look different once it's stretched out. Anyways, Greg explains this. It's so great. It really is a worker's dream. I would go out on a limb and say this is, you know, my favorite product of 2015 so far. I'm going to have it on me. I love ring magic, and this is just so organic. If you do ring magic and walk around close up, you'd be dumb. You'd be an idiot. I'm sorry, you'd be an idiot not to get this. So do check out Bandwidth by Greg Wilson. You will not regret this. So that's it, guys, for me this week. Once again, be sure to like this video, comment below what you thought about the effects, and next week I will pick a winner and I will send you a copy of Badge and a copy of Bandwidth on the house. So good luck with that. Have a safe weekend for what's left of it, and we'll see you guys next Sunday. All right, peace out.